You know what's crazy about SpaceX? Well, it's being celebrated that they just flew 870 miles into space, which was incredible and amazing, right? But almost 60 years ago, 50 some odd years ago, we were on the moon, which is complete with the dune buggy thing and excursion, and they had less computing power than they do today. And the moon is almost 240,000 miles away. So, do you see the issue here?
So, is NASA serious? We don't even have a real picture of the globe that they say that we live on, but now we have a telescope that's 1 million miles away from us that can actually see up to 15 billion light years away. Well, this is why I have a problem, and I have a huge problem with that. You can't even give us, again, you cannot give us a real picture of the globe that we live on. NASA has admitted over a few times that you can go to by yourself and go read about it, YouTube, listen about it. They have said multiple times, on multiple occasions, that the globe image that they give you is not real, that they have created this image for you. So, if we can't see the own place that we live on, the globe that they say, how can we see up to 15 billion light years away? No.
Have you ever wondered why we haven't been back to the moon in over 50 years? The last time that humans landed on the moon was in 1972 on the Apollo 17 mission. With all of this amazing and super advanced technology being deployed, like Elon Musk and his rockets, it makes you wonder.
Go to the moon in a nanosecond. The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
Right. We destroyed the most advanced technology known to mankind. A weird little box shuttle-looking thing that I could probably build in my basement. Why don't we watch this thing launch?
Nine, proceeded, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Burn away, Houston.
Confetti! Why would confetti come out of a little shuttle? And how is this combusting in the empty void of space? And the cameraman even got left behind. How incredible. How smart these people are on the Apollo 17 mission.
I'm not saying I'm a conspiracy theorist, but think about this real quick. 4,000 satellites currently orbiting the Earth. And how come the Earth always looks different whenever they show different pictures of it? Look how big the United States is in this picture. And in this picture, look how big the United States is. That's kind of weird, right? But anyways, back to these satellites. There's 4,000 of them floating around, and anytime they show a picture of space, I don't see a satellite. And before you get on me saying that the International Space Station orbits in the thermosphere, not the exosphere, I get that. I get that idea. I get that they're in different levels of low Earth orbit. But I just find it weird. I've never seen a picture of any satellites anytime ever. That's freaking weird.
And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs, when she is shaken of a mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places.
One specific video where Apollo 11 just gets back and they're in a press conference. Look at these guys, their body language, how they're speaking for like an hour and a half. They're depressed, like they're saying a script.
They're being very, very calculated and careful about what they're saying.
Right, and their facial expressions, especially Armstrong, is just disgusted. What happened? before they supposedly went to the moon, they were excited. They were happy. If you look at, TV footage before that, they were ecstatic. And now they've just been like on the greatest journey a human can potentially take in physical at that time, and they're just depressed.
I've been a flat earther for about 5 years now.
Why do you believe the earth is flat?
Our constellations, they literally circle us. If you put a telescope in one spot, or if you point it at the North Star and just fix it there, the North Star does not move. And our constellations circle us. If we were, this space rock spinning at these astronomical numbers through space, we wouldn't see the same star pattern. Compasses prove flat Earth. We have 2 poles, supposedly, at North Pole and the South Pole. Why don't we ever point south? For me personally, I think it's a spiritual thing. I think they're trying to hide God from us because they have to be able to control us. It's all a mind control thing.
It's 2025, and the word on the street is that some of you still believe in the moon landing. So I figured we should try to remedy that. Here's a few points that may change your mind. Let's watch this guy drive around on this buggy. Isn't that fun? Watch as the thing turns. Why aren't his arms moving if he's steering it? That looks weird. Why is the horizon so close? If the moon is supposedly a quarter of the size of the Earth, which they used to say 1/6 the size, but now's not the time to get into that. If it's only a quarter of the size, why is the horizon that close? Is the horizon only 4 times further than that here on Earth? I don't think so. Looks like a studio to me. Now let's look at this. This dude's supposedly driving around in this buggy on the moon, communicating with Houston.
Okay, Houston, we've had a problem here.
As he's driving around, it's bouncing up and down. Listen to his voice.
It negotiates small craters quite well, although there's a lot of roll.
Does it sound like somebody who's bouncing up and down in a vehicle to you, or does his voice sound steady? Let's listen.
It feels like we need the seatbelts, doesn't it, Jim? Yeah, really do. That really bouncing, doesn't it?
Let's look at one more thing. Look at the rooster tails coming off of this. Doesn't look much different than wood on Earth, does it? Now let's speed it up and see how it looks. That's weird. I get it. I used to be just like you. I believed that these great guys went to space and had the greatest achievement of all time. So why did they look like this when they left and like this when they got back?
It was our pleasure to have participated in one great adventure.
Or maybe you're more interested in practical things, like how they spent all that time out there in space and landed on the moon, but they all came back clean shaven. Just something to think about. Why is it that the entire time they were on the moon, none of them went, "Oh my God, look at Earth, it's so beautiful"? And why only shortly before did this man, Gus Grissom, say that there's no way that this thing would make it to the moon, and then he mysteriously die in a fire?
Hey, how are we gonna get to the moon if we can't talk between 3 buildings? I can't hear that thing you're saying. Jesus Christ. Hey! Oh, no fire in the cockpit!
All we're asking is that you look into these things and that you think about them with a clear head. And before you believe another government agent that feeds you lies, maybe look into this instead. That's where the answers are.
When you looked up at the sky, could you actually see the stars and the solar corona in spite of the glare?
We were never able to see stars from the lunar surface or on the daylight side of the moon by eye without looking through the optics. I don't recall during the period of time that we were photographing the solar corona what stars we could see.
I don't remember seeing any.
I don't remember seeing any. I'm confused. Did NASA not use stars to map the way to the moon, allegedly?
The astronaut navigator finds a known star in the wide-angle telescope. Using a fingertip control, he changes the attitude of the spacecraft to bring the star into line. Once he has the star in position in the telescope, he moves the optical sextant. He lines the sextant up with the star and makes a read.
Right, okay. So, we have it from the astronauts who were in space, that they couldn't see stars, they don't remember seeing any stars at all. And yet, NASA mapped their way to the moon using stars.
Some NASA actors say that you can totally see stars when you're in space.
Whilst in space, have you ever looked away from Earth into the black void?
Yeah,
all
because
the
you can
time.
see, because you can see the stars.
Oh yeah,
you know, and pretty much all the time you can see the stars.
It's not a
which is
black
cool
void.
thing.
I mean, it's black, but there's all kinds of little polka dots.
There's all the stars there, and the cool thing is about it, you can see it during the day.
Yeah, you can, and there's more than stars. You can see planets. You can
Right.
see moons.
You see the gas Magellan clouds of the
you
Milky Way
see
galaxy.
the Magellanic Clouds.
Magellanic. See, I just wanted the
well,
Magellan
there's a large
clouds.
one
I didn't
and a
want to
small one, right?
Yeah.
And then you can see the zodiacal light.
Whoa. But the NASA actors from 1969 say that you can't see the stars in space.
We were never able to see stars from the lunar surface or on the daylight side of the moon by eye without looking through the optics. I don't recall during the period of time that we were photographing the solar corona what stars we could see.
I don't remember seeing any. You can see the stars.
Oh yeah.
You know, and pretty much all the time you can see the stars.
I don't remember seeing any.
Everything we've been taught is a lie. And that brings me to the space and cosmos, one of the greatest deceptions, and yet given to us by NASA themselves. Article after article after article after press release and press release about water in space in amounts that are completely mind-blowing. Ocean worlds, water in the solar system and beyond. 2009, NASA found a sprawling cloud of cold water vapor around a solar system at a nearby star. The water vapor could eventually deliver oceans to dry planets that are forming in the system. The famous Eye of God nebula actually weeping tears of water. Stars and galaxies are born in a nebula. Can you imagine the size of the water that's coming out of a nebula? It's like one drop of that would engulf our entire solar system. Oceans detected inside Saturn's moon, and stars found shooting water bullets. NASA confirms best ever evidence water on Mars. Water from Orion. Now there's water coming out of the constellation of Orion. A star shooting water bullets. A star is supposed to be a sun. There's water on a star. And they do a study, NASA, and they say basically all stars have water. This is the conclusion. Stanford University tells us that there's water on the sun. Waterloo University tells us that there's water on the sun. On the left is one of those deep space images of the universe. On the right is a picture of a swimming pool. Also keep in mind that many of the images that we get shown by NASA come from radio telescopes, not from optical telescopes that actually photograph an object. Our very own solar system is completely surrounded by water. They tell us it's ice, but can we believe them? Well, we call it the Kuiper Belt. It's a belt in a disk. That whole thing is now completely engulfed by more water called the Oort cloud that completely engulfs our entire solar system. It looks something like that. And yet, there's supposed to be vacuum in space. Where does the water go? Where does the vacuum begin or end? Suddenly, the Bible makes a lot more sense to me. And God said, "Let there be light." So the Spirit of God is moving across the waters, and it's the sound of the Creator that makes the light. How does that work? Well, in modern science, it's known as sonoluminescence. When you put a sound frequency into a body of water, after a little while, a beautiful bubble appears filled with light. Where does the watery space begin? Where is the edge? Well, if we start listening to what the Bible tells us in some ancient scriptures, maybe we should listen to all of it. It says, God placed the firmament in the sky to separate the waters of the heavens from the waters below. And then how did God create the flood? It tells us God opened the gates of heaven to let the water pour in on the earth.
I believe the sun is in front of and behind the clouds, and now it just disappeared into the clouds. Let's see what happens here if we can. This is not very safe. But look, clouds in front, clouds behind. 93 million miles away, guys. Clouds in front, clouds behind. 93 million miles away. Isn't that awesome? Look at that. Oh my God. How is that possible? Clouds in front, clouds behind. Woo!
The Flat Earth map dates back over 1,000 years. This map is credited to being created by a Persian astronomer. His name was Al-Biruni, and he lived between 973 AD to 1048 AD. It's the official map of the United Nations and also the United States Geological Survey. It used to be present in many places before the creation of NASA and the Antarctic Treaty in 1959. Here you see it with Admiral Byrd. This map has been restored by Dmitry from Russia with suggestions of mine, Eddie Alenkar. Known by my YouTube channel Flat Earth Banjo, I asked Dmitry to include the Bermuda Triangle and Point Nemo, a place deep in the Pacific where NASA buries rockets. Then Robert Tozzi, a professional mapmaker, came along and enhanced the map even more. There are many people now selling this map online, but if you could order it from my online store, I would greatly appreciate it. Visit my online store now and order one of the items. I humbly thank you.